still gives me anxiety that I need to hold this pace for 42 Ks.
When you're tired of carrying all that fatigue, how do you stop doubts creeping in?
I just have to remind myself that, fatigue is part of a marathon block, and I mean, it's quite normal to be on that line of, overtraining or not being able to hit sessions, but also pushing enough to get the adaptations, before then entering the taper. So it's a condensed period of a lot of work and a lot of volume, but I suppose that's what is gonna give us the adaptations that we need for the marathon and for the aggressive goal that we've set. So yeah, reminding myself that it's normal and that the freshness will come down the line. And a lot of the time that's in your head too, where you think that quite fatigued, not up for this session, I'm not gonna have the energy to do it. But you're almost writing yourself off straight away. So I've just sort of tried to snap out of that, and even if I wake up and my Garmin's telling me that you're under recovered and your sleep wasn't great and your HRV is low, you should take a rest day. Trying to not let that dictate my expectations of a session.
Another long run boxed off, mate.
I was tight going at the end. Marathon pace felt a bit harder than what I'd like it to feel, but 27k total, 427 average. Another one boxed off, 15 days out. Hopefully the adaptations start to come and we start to feel a bit better in the coming weeks. But the main thing is we tick the box. Time to rehydrate, refuel.
And
ChatGPT doesn't seem to think that we are in 249 shape.
how much we should trust the GPT. Well, I think it's been good that you've been able to increase the mileage so much, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just you're running 100+ weeks now, as it's the new normal. We weren't there just a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's that's a new territory. Maybe we found the right intensity.
Yeah. I believe the fitness is definitely there for the 249, to hold that sort of forward pace, but I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but also I feel like, if the taper goes well and there's no other surprises, then, and I think that's one thing that I do want to do, is to actually finish strong this time as opposed to, hanging on by a thread.
What's the biggest difference you've noticed in this build versus Japan?
I think I've been quite surprised at how smooth it's been in comparison to the Japan build, especially when the intensity started to ramp up and as we got closer to the peak weeks of that block. I was picking up quite a few niggles. I was probably struggling to keep up with the intensity bumps and with the sort of volume increases, and probably was on the other end of the line where we want to be close to it and we want to ride that line as much as possible, but stepping over the mark is where you start to suffer a bit and workout quality starts to drop. Whereas this time I've been healthy most of the build, 1 or 2 niggles, but nothing really to write home about, and I've been able to sort of consistently increase the volume, comparing to Tokyo where I was doing 50-60 kilometers a week and peaked at like 70, and that was quite a push for me, and I was struggling quite a bit with that. Whereas this time we peaked at 118 kilometers and we were quite consistently doing 100 plus in the last probably 12 weeks.
It's the morning after the absolute carnage of yesterday's run and strength session last night. Let's just say the legs have felt better, but we are in for some TLC. Spent 20 minutes on Google Maps looking for somewhere where I could get a decent deep tissue, and we have landed at this Thai massage parlour, so stay tuned for post-match reports.
She was laughing at how everything on my lower body was tender and fatigued. I was trying to sort of relay the message that I've just ran 115 kilometers last week, and for the past 10-12 weeks we have been
abusing the body, but I don't really think she got the memo. But anyway, that is hopefully going to kickstart the recovery. Still going to be running most days, still a lot of work to do, and working to arrive on the start line as fresh and as fast as possible.
When's the booty builder coming out though? That's the question.
Some people will only see what you produce on race day. What do they not see?
Yeah, I suppose the time is going to be what's put on social media, and that's going to be the judge of, you know, my performance on the day and potentially of, you know, how well I've trained. But I think anyone that is involved in endurance training or training for a marathon or a big race, it's a lot of time and a lot of effort, you know, not just the 12, 13 hours of running in the week, but also, you know, the 3 to 4 hours of gym stuff and the preparation for each of them sessions and the recovery from that too. So, I mean, your weekends are largely revolved around the long run, you know, and the Friday night and the Friday day is spent, you know, preparing for that with fueling and trying to get the mindset into a good place. The Saturday morning, the exact same, and then largely the rest of the weekend is spent, you know, focus on recovery from that so that we can start Monday fresh and start a new week and begin to build towards Wednesday's workout. And that's one thing that has been quite rewarding, and it sort of gamifies it a bit, that on a Monday you start fresh and your Strava graph is at 0, and it's almost like, right, this is another week for us to get after it, and no matter how well I did in the week previous in the workout or in the long run, you know, it's a clean slate, and it's about just trying to move forward, and yeah, all roads leading to the big session on Wednesday and then repeating that as well.
Five minutes at like marathon pace, and then 45-second rest, 3 minutes at around half marathon pace, and then take a set rest in 90 seconds. You're going the wrong way, bro. Thank fuck that's over. Oh, it wasn't great. Just felt clunky. Legs didn't feel great at all. I'll speak with a coach after and say that I felt like shite, but he's probably going to reassure me that it's quite normal, especially off the back of Saturday and just the training load. So happy to get it done. 10.75 Ks, 5K warm up before that, and then I'll jog a bit for a cool down. The main thing is we got it done, and every session isn't going to be amazing.
What part of your fitness still feels a little bit vulnerable?
It's always going to be a question, and I think it's probably going to be the exact same for every marathon build that I do in the future, is that am I going to be able to hold that pace for the full distance? 42 kilometers is quite a long way to go, and you know, you can't replicate that in training. So it's probably just that anxiety of, you know, how is the body going to feel when we reach the latter stages of the race, and is the durability and the robustness going to be there for us to, you know, sustain that intensity and stay on pace. So I've sort of surrendered to that, because I think if it was so certain that yes, we've done this training and we've hit this amount of volume that, you know, you're going to run this time, then it probably wouldn't be as exciting. So I think the anxieties are quite normal, and we just have to trust in what we've done. But yeah, I think the 30 kilometer mark is going to tell the story, really.